Hey, thanks for watching again, Trip Williams. I wanted to talk for a few minutes about AA meetings and my thoughts. And if you're thinking of going, but you're nervous about it, you don't know what to expect, I want to offer some tidbits of advice, experience, some kind of mental notes that I took when I was at the meetings, and just kind of my overall opinions of AA meetings. So, first of all, you don't have to go to one if uh, if you're a drinker. You don't have to go sober. You don't. You can. I remember there were a couple where people showed up drunk. There was this one lady one time. She showed up like kind of staggering through the door, and I'm thinking like I'm sitting there. I'm sure some other people are thinking the same thing. Like, how did this lady get here? I mean, my God, did she drive? And she sat down and she was crying. And so, anyway, you don't have to be sober when you go. Just if you're thinking of giving up drinking, you just want to see what it's about, I would advise you to check it out. The typical meeting format is you go in and you sit down and you say a prayer, and there'll be someone who's kind of like the designated speaker. And at some point, and the meetings are usually about an hour at some type of public location. I think on average there was probably anywhere from like 10 people to, this is average, 10 to 20 people for the meetings that I was going to. And you sat down and someone was kind of like the designated speaker. And there's definitely like a format to the meeting, and you kind of like, you're supposed to surrender yourself to God and declare that you're powerless over alcohol. And then there's like time where you can go around the room and tell the story. You're definitely encouraged to speak if it's your first meeting, but you don't have to speak at all. You can just sit there and be quiet the whole time and just see what it's like, which would be some advice I would give to someone. Just go, don't say anything, and just see that you're not the only one that's effed up. You're not the only one that's thinking of giving up drinking or that has problems. There was one guy that in one meeting that I guess he had relapsed after like 20 years being sober and was in tears. It's like a 60-year-old guy. And it is supposed to be anonymous, so it's not like you go around and really like tell your background and your name and your story and all that. You're just supposed to say like, hi, I'm Trip and I'm alcoholic. And when I was getting sober, that's what I did. I went to AA meetings. That was supposed to be like the free and easy way to like get support and get sober and stay on the straight and narrow. I just didn't go for it. I know there's a lot of people out, like millions of people, that the 12-step program has worked for. I just kind of had a problem with a couple of things. One, you have to have a sponsor, which to me just kind of seemed like you've got a babysitter to watch over you and make sure you're not drinking. I didn't really like that. I thought, like, if I'm an adult and I'm thinking of doing this, it's got to be on my own terms, on my own initiative. And I don't want somebody to have to, or for me to feel like I'm being checked up on by, I guess, a friend now that I didn't. I remember my so-called sponsor was a guy I'd never even met before. And I'm like, okay, I guess this is, all right, I guess this is how this is supposed to work. And we're going to be friends. And I'm supposed to call him or her, I guess it could be, if I ever feel like drinking, and I would get phone calls from time to time from this guy, and he would just kind of see how I'm doing, and every time it was like, I'm doing fine, okay. I'm about to go hit some golf balls or whatever. I'm about to mow the lawn. I'm okay. Anyway, I didn't really like the whole sponsor thing about it. Another thing is that you had to kind of surrender and I'm Catholic, okay? The fact that in the meetings you have to surrender yourself to God, I didn't really have a problem. Obviously, I don't have a problem with God. I'm Catholic. But the being powerless over alcohol, I never bought into that. I thought, look, if you choose to drink, it's your own choice. God gave us free will. So if you mess up and you're now an alcoholic, God didn't create us alcoholics, okay? He created me, a man, a boy, you know, and with blonde hair, and, you know, look the way I look. God doesn't make people alcoholics. That's just my opinion. You choose to drink on your own. You continue to choose to drink on your own, even though almost every time you know it's not the right, I mean, it's basically poison. So anytime you're drinking alcohol, it's probably not a good thing for you, okay? But that's your choice. So to try to make the AA goers confess that they're powerless over alcohol, I don't buy it. You have free will. You have the right to choose what you want to do. So you can choose to drink or you can choose not to drink. I'm not powerless to alcohol. Okay, so that was another strike. Kind of the third strike. So that would have been like the strike one was the whole sponsor thing. Strike two was saying that I'm powerless over alcohol. The third strike was that after a few weeks of the AA meetings, by that time, and being sober, after a few weeks, I'm going to these meetings. I wasn't going to them every night, but 2, 3, 4 times a week. And I'm like, all right, well, I got some questions. I want to get some answers. And meeting after meeting, you know, by the time, especially if there's like 35 people in the meeting, by the time an hour is over, I'm like, I didn't get anything out of that. I got all these questions like, what am I supposed to look for? Okay, am I supposed to be triggered by this? Do I need to try to avoid certain situations? I got all these questions, and it's a kind of a poor atmosphere if you're looking for individual help, like one-on-one. It's great support socially and kind of like from that, I guess, alcoholic community, but I wasn't in it for the social atmosphere, okay? I'm like, this is a major change I'm making in my life, and I'm taking it seriously. So when I come to these meetings, I'm looking for information, and I wasn't really getting it. That's just my opinion. I know the program works for a lot of people. So I quit going, and I got hooked up with a therapist, and that was it. That was all I needed, help. Now, I know it costs money, but that was money I was willing to spend to change my life for the better, okay? I'm not gonna mention his name, but he was a therapist for food addictions, kind of like more specifically like anorexia and stuff like that. He didn't even help alcoholics. But I started going to talk to him, and just the one-on-one communication from somebody who could point me in a specific direction, who had experience with helping people with addiction, it changed my life forever. I never went back to drinking. The guy changed my life. I would highly recommend talking to someone one-on-one on a regular basis when you're getting sober. It doesn't have to be a therapist. I mean, that's the route that I took, and it wasn't free. But if you if you know a friend, I would say someone probably that you don't have much of a background with, someone that'll shoot you straight. A lot of times people that know you from, like, let's say it's a friend of your dad's or something like that, they're going to probably have a little bit of a biased opinion in their answers. If you have questions, you're looking for answers, I advise you to try to find somebody that you don't really know, that'll basically just give you straight, direct answers, and they're not afraid to hurt your feelings, like this guy, like this therapist was. And that's about it. I hope this helped. That was my thoughts on AA meetings and what you can kind of expect, and what my thoughts and my experiences were with AA meetings, and what I recommend. Look, if you're wanting to tell me to go, or if you want me to tell you whether or not to go, yes, go. Check it out. I mean, like I said, it has worked for millions of people. It just didn't really work for me the way that I wanted, and it's not the route that I took to get sober long term. It wasn't the successful route that I took. So that's it. I hope these thoughts and hope this talk helps, and I appreciate your time.